You have found the Titus Podcast Armageddon Update with hosts Christopher Titus, Rachel Bradley, and Ken Highland. And now, here's Christopher Titus with this week's Armageddon Update.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Joe Biden is old, and it turns out, people, he was old the whole time he was president. What? Jake Tapper is up for the Pulitzer after noticing that an 82-year-old man was an 82-year-old man. Good job, Jake. Thanks for cracking that story wide open.
We stand by our book, and
Yes.
we do hope that history does reward the truth.
I love it.
Can't wait for your book on Puff Daddy being black and dyeing his hair. Listen, whether Joe Biden was slower or older or had dementia...
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president until I think she was not qualified to be president.
or couldn't talk, or was pooping himself, or was just a head in a jar. He was still better than this guy, who, by the way, is also slower, older, has dementia.
He ended up getting a divorce, found a new wife. Could you say a trophy wife? I guess we can say a trophy wife. It didn't work out too well. But that doesn't work out too well, I must tell you. A lot of trophy wives.
Can't talk.
Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's the leader of, right? He's the leader of Turkey.
Viktor Orban, not the leader of Turkey. He is the prime minister of Hungary.
Poops himself. And if his head was in a jar, I'd vote for the jar. I'd vote for Jar Jar Binks. Hell, I'd vote for Jabba the Hutt. Shout out to Bombshell for the pun. Look, if we have to go down the list of accomplishments of these two, there is no comparison. In fact, I would take Joe Biden as president over this guy 4 days after his state funeral. But the Democrats keep trying to figure it out, how they lost. Oh, they let Joe Biden run, man. He should have got out earlier. They should have stopped him. And that may be accurate, but let's get to the truth. Democrats, you blew it.
You blew
Not the
it!
politicians, the electorate. On top of that, we had black men refusing to vote for an incredibly qualified black woman. Instead, they voted for a guy that was indicted by the Nixon administration for not letting black men rent apartments and tried to get the Central Park 5 executed. As my friend D.L. Hughley said yesterday, it's because she wasn't black enough and didn't have a penis. And let's be honest, Trump barely has a penis. Then you had the Latin community who voted for Trump for the same reason. And I know some of them are now questioning their vote from an El Salvadorian prison. Then you got the far left woke pasty-ass performative Democrats refusing to vote for Kamala because I don't like her Gaza policy. She's putting Palestinians in a genocide situation.
They wouldn't even allow for a Palestinian to speak at the DNC.
So what are you going to do?
Personally, I'm going to vote for Jill Stein. You know, I have a choice to vote for somebody that sees me as a human, that sees my family as a human, that actually cares about my community.
So instead, they voted for a guy who's given Netanyahu free reign to put Palestinians in a genocide situation.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it.
Trump's letting it happen so he can build a golf course and erect Craven gold statues of himself all over Gaza. And according to Stormy, that's all he can erect. So across the board, people on the left either didn't vote and stayed home and surfed their racism and misogyny to not elect this badass attorney general, senator, vice president. Be clear, this election has nothing to do with how old this man is or that he didn't recognize George Clooney. Dude, maybe you're not as famous as you thought, George. How could he not recognize me? He's the fucking president. He's busy. Biden gave his soul to this country for 50 years. Were mistakes made? Sure. Is George Clooney a self-centered weenie? Maybe. But the reality is that things were going so well because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that you were no longer worried about a pandemic or a world war or empty shelves or Russia taking Ukraine. Your life was going so well that you forgot that this man, this bloviating, corrupt criminal with the vocabulary of a fourth grader, almost ended the country. And this time, he's decided to up his game and finish the job. You were pissed at the price of eggs, you fragile bitches.
Groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word. The groceries, when you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs. And I won an election based on that.
How's that working out for you? But this man saved us. So when you people who know you didn't do your job this last election and are looking for who to blame for the current clusterfuck timeline we are living in, I need you to get a mirror. I need you to look deep into it. and give yourself the finger. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. God damn, man. Yeah, man, we're only here because Joe Biden didn't leave early enough. No! We're here because you kept whining about the dumbest shit instead of fucking grabbing your balls and voting for Kamala. Yeah, we don't know the Bible. I don't think you want to policy. Shut the fuck up! Hi, everybody. Christopher Titus, Titus Podcast. With me, as always, the lovely Bombshell Ray.
Hi, what's up, people?
And the Highlander.
That was a kind of a mix of the German, but not.
I'm trying to get away from it, man.
Well, keep holding.
There can be only one. And you
didn't blink for like 4 minutes.
The creepiest smile ever. But yours actually looks nice. Mine was not. This was mine.
That is solid. Solid. There can be only one.
We just did the Armageddon update. We did it yesterday, but I want to remind everybody what it's about. The Democrats have been whining. Jake Tapper dropped a book about Joe Biden. Basically, he's old and he has dementia. No shit. And everything was awesome.
Meanwhile, we have a fascist dictator running things.
Yeah, but everything was kicking ass. Everything was great. And now they're just ripping him. Are you on this? Are you a part of this show?
No, I was reading an email from your manager.
Yeah, no. Just to close it. No, you got to be on the show when you're on the show. You never see Jimmy Kimmel reading something. For God's sakes, be part of the show. Anyway, so the Democrats are.
I know what you're gonna say.
What?
I can tune in and out. I've heard it. Blah blah blah.
So mad. The best host ever. I can tune in and out. That's how I live with you.
Blah blah blah. So mad.
The viewers are like, skip. Yep.
Music.
Skip.
I
think we should start over again. Hi, I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Titus Podcast. With me, as always, the lovely Bombshell Ray.
Yo, what's up?
And the Highlander.
There can be only one.
There you go. So here's the thing. What's pissing me off is that the Democrats, instead of going after this Hitler-esque rapist,
yes,
and just on the daily, having a daily press conference where they go, here's what he lied about today. Here's what he screwed up today. Here's what he did to the tariffs. Here's what he did to the economy. I mean, every day at 6 o'clock.
The real target. Go after the real target.
We should be able to turn the fucking TV on at 6 o'clock and be ready for, where did he lie? Because if we had a daily thing where they just called him out every fucking day, what would happen is that would start to soak in. The problem is
No. They're busy calling out Joe Biden who's dying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
who's not in office anymore.
They don't have time.
Who's not in office, who did a great job. Listen, I said it in the Armageddon update. I would take a head in a jar over this guy. Biden's head in a jar would have done a better job. And
he's got cancer.
But also,
leave the fucking guy alone.
But also, they lost, and a lot of Democrats did this bullshit, and this is what bothers me. I said it. I don't like her Gaza policy, so I'm not going to vote for her. They interviewed one guy from Michigan or Wisconsin, and he said, "Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein because I just believed her Gaza policy." So you let this guy get in.
But that's the thing I never understood is that when they would say, "I don't like her stance on Gaza." But what about the guy that's going to win if you don't vote for?
He wants Trump Gaza.
What about his stance?
Yeah, you didn't. Okay.
His stance is making himself a gold statue and putting in the center.
And taking it over.
And not allowing them to come home. Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So are you happy now? Because now they've killed, there's some guy that I just watched an interview. Someone was a chancellor of somebody was, I think Germany or somebody was talking about it. Since this has happened, since Israel cranked it up, that they've killed 1,765 children. Have died in Gaza. And so you didn't like her stance. I found an article and it basically says she will not stop until there is peace and a ceasefire in Israel. So I'm not sure what stance you didn't like.
Yeah.
I talked to D.L. Hughley. Can I tell you a little story? This is the weirdest. No, this is the weirdest thing. Okay, so I've known D.L. a long time. I'm going to tell the story about how I met D.L. You ready? I'm touring on the road. I'm doing all these one-nighters, horrible one-nighters. I'm doing all of them. D.L. is...
This is last year? What was
this is literally this is literally 25 years ago. Dio's already Dio's one of these cats. I've never seen a guy with an economy of words can make anything funny. He's very and Ray knows him
no
too.
Better dressed.
No, but also the way he does comedy is so quick. Like you don't see Dio going without a laugh, going on meandering tirade.
And I would like to tell everyone that he does also just look like that in the airport. the hat, the shoe. It is insane. I told him he must have a stylist because it is.
Yeah,
out
I'm
of
in the airport in
control.
sweats and flip flops, and DL's literally dressed as if he's going to an
Yes,
award show. He's the
yes.
best dressed human being you've ever seen, and it's classy. So, out of the blue, 2 days ago, my
So
phone
how
rang.
do you meet him?
Oh, a minute, right? So we're working the Charlotte Comedy Zone, and it was like my early headlining gigs, and I got a headlining week, and I was doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they go, oh, I know I did Wednesday, Thursday. This one used to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I did Wednesday, and they go, oh, by the way, we booked Deal Hughley came up, and he's gonna do Friday and Saturday, but you can open for him.
Oh, you got bumped.
And I was like,
that's
okay.
good, yeah.
Now you got to remember, I'm white now. 25 years ago, I was the whitest comedian possibly. Like there is nothing. So they show up with a crew. He's got a whole crew of guys.
Always.
This is what I learned about DL. Using his clothes, he rented a Lexus, the biggest Lexus they have. This man lives full out. So they show up to the show. I meet him. He goes, "Hey man, my audience is very, very black, and they do not like white guys." And I said, "Give me one show." I said, "Give me one show." And he goes, he literally deals like, all right, man. Knowing I'm going to get my ass handed to me. I'm
Worse than the
I'm in the
Apollo.
South. Yeah, I'm in the South. Yeah. So I go up on stage and I'm opening, or I'm featuring, and I start doing, and it is literally just that.
Especially in this,
Yeah,
Charlotte.
I get on as white as I am.
Yeah.
I am the white devil on stage, and all of a sudden, I get in some laughs. My jokes are working, and this guy heckles me. This guy heckles me. He's, "Yo, man, you got some big feet." And I go, he goes, "What size are those?" He's laughing, and I go, "The 12s." I go, "What size you wear?" He goes, 9.5. I go, "I guess I'll be taking your woman home tonight." And the whole fucking place erupted.
Yeah,
like
that's when you
people
turned it.
stood up with napkins and and I was like, "So you want to say anything else?" No, I see you wore your good. You wore your good going out Saturday night tank top tonight. Nice job, because he was wearing he was wearing a basketball jersey, and I just ripped him a little bit more. And then it was a guy with a pink drink. I went after him, and all of a sudden, I turned the whole crowd.
The pinkety drinkety.
And I get off stage, and DL's waiting for me, and he goes, "Anytime you want to work with me."
Nice.
So ever since then, we've been in contact over the years, back and forth, not like tight friends hanging out at parties, but we talk a lot. So my phone rings the other day, and it says no number, whatever it was, blocked number, not blocked number, but what do they call it when they no
ID?
No ID. That's it. No ID. And I pick it up, and first of all, I picked it up, and it took a minute, and I hung it up, and he calls back, and he goes, "Motherfucker, you see it's me?" And I go, "I can't tell it's you. When someone says no ID, I don't know anybody with no ID." Yeah. And so we start talking, and he starts going off about he saw one of our Armageddon updates. And he goes, that you are still doing this and being that funny about this nightmare that's happening. He goes, you and I are the only ones that are really bitching about this.
Yeah.
He goes, and we talked for like an hour.
I wonder which episode it was.
And he said,
that's such a comment.
What show? What show?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Which
I love
joke
your
did you-
show. Which show?
Which one?
Friday 1st or Friday 2nd?
Exactly. Second Friday.
Closer
first,
on that
second
one was a
show.
little
That's
better.
how we get it.
That's what we wondered
It's
too.
pathetic. So we talk about it, and he said something. He just started going off about Kamala. I was talking about how the Gaza thing happened, where
His
was going,
Instagram is very good. Very
and I was
funny.
going, these people, that guy was going to let them just take bulldozers to Gaza, and you voted for him anyway, or didn't vote?
Yeah.
And he goes, when I don't, and this is the deal, I've put it in there. He said, what I'm pissed about? He goes, black men would not vote for a woman. First of all, she's not black enough. And he goes, two things. She's not black enough, and she didn't have a penis. And I said, well, Trump barely has one. He laughed. And here's the thing. When DL calls it out like that, I was like, we have to talk
Interesting.
about it.
Polling data. Who had a story ready with a study from the last 4 presidential elections suggests that the root of the male voter problem and the potential solution is pretty straightforward. Ready? Support for Democrats among male voters dropped dramatically when the party's presidential candidate was a woman, and rebounded when the party nominated a man.
So, so when you bitches in the Democratic Party who either didn't vote, voted third party, or decided to do a protest vote for Trump, just know that you're I would say racist and misogynistic. On top of that, because it's not her qualifications. If you look at look at what this woman did, Ray, I'll tell you this: 10 years ago. This 10 years ago. when she was here, she Attorney General. This girl, who, by the way, she doesn't follow anybody. This is a leader. She goes, I would work for her for free.
Yeah. I would just follow her around if she would let me.
Yeah. Could I get you water? I'm going to get you water.
Sure, that's what Ray whatever.
So people forget that she was an amazing senator. She was a deciding vote on some huge pieces, like 3 or 4 huge pieces of legislation. She was amazing when she was the Attorney General.
She pissed liberals off here. I remember being at dinner with our neighbors, and they were pissed about her prosecution record.
Yeah, because it didn't matter if you were white or black. If you committed a crime, you went to jail.
Well, she was just there to prosecute on behalf of the laws, and
100%.
So she did her job.
Yep.
But liberals were mad, and I think that that's a nice balance. We had somebody who was in law enforcement, who pissed liberals off, pissed conservatives off, was extremely well educated and heavily experienced, and a nice human on top of all that.
But also she didn't take any shit. And I've said this before. You guys don't know this, but when the 2008 crisis happened and the mortgage companies raped everybody, California sued all the banks. The banks came back with an offer to settle for all these people who ended up homeless, who ended up bankrupt because of the predatory lending stuff. They said, "Well, all right, we'll settle for $2 billion," and she told them to fuck off. Guess what?
And everybody was upset. Oh my God!
Guess how much she got? $25 billion.
She was a much better choice than Biden. When she was announced, I had a sense of relief.
We did, yeah.
Like she is smart and she can be aggressive and she's young.
And so now what we
her
have
husband
is,
likes her. He doesn't hit her.
And one more thing, you didn't like her Gaza policy. I mean, she's married to a Jew. I mean, I just don't understand.
You say that as though that's not a problem too.
I don't think
she is.
Oh, that's right. She
a black Indian woman.
Mixed
okay,
race.
here are the counts against black Indian woman married to white Jew. I mean, it's like people are so gnarly.
Like there's literally we just put everything that's so that if you have any racism in you at all, we put it in a blender and just mixed it.
It's interesting. I think this study now coming out is that we have really been trying to complicate it. And when you lay it out like that, black Indian woman, white Jew husband, it's like, oh, because we have seen tangible evidence over the last 8 years or more, but certainly since Trump first got in office, that people are sexist and racist. End of story. Hillary was overly qualified. And why we're all sitting around going, how could they nominate this guy again? He's a criminal and he's fat and he's ugly and he's bankrupt and he doesn't know what he's doing and he's a liar. And oh, because she's a black Indian woman married to a white Jew. Why? Exactly. Why do we complicate it?
Because people don't want to face the fact that they're racist and misogynistic.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have a problem facing it. I think we don't want to face that they.
Nobody wants to. No
you
one
should meet some of the people I grew up around.
But nobody went like this. Nobody said, you know, man, I'm not voting because she's a woman. No one said that. I don't like her policies.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, they did.
On TikTok?
Of course. On social media?
Yeah.
Because she's black. Because she's a woman. Yeah, of course. Racism is ollie oxen free.
They're going to say some other thing or make some other, when really they mean, I don't like her because she's a woman. She's black. She's whatever.
So now we're 120 days in and
she's shrill.
And everybody's going, oh, that's a good
Hillary, you called me shrill today on the phone, which, you know.
Strident. I said strident.
Well,
I did not say shrill.
Are you sure?
100%.
That's code for shrill.
It's just more expensive.
No, I am not listening. As long as
that's code
we've been getting along lately. I made sure I picked the word that you
barely.
Strident.
Strident is the same. I knew what you meant. My brain processed it as shrill.
It is just a fancier way of saying shrill.
Shut up! What side are you on, you
Which
dick?
is a fancier way of saying you have opinions and me no likey.
I don't like your policy.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. What now? So now we're 100 days in, and the Democrats are like, you know, man, if they would have just, you know, it's because Biden stayed in too long. That's why. No, motherfuckers, it's you. Yeah. You didn't weigh it. No, you didn't weigh it and go, you know what? If I close my eyes, I don't accept that she's a black Indian woman married to a white Jew. If I just look at her qualifications and her ability, she is a mother.
And her character.
And her character. And she was law enforcement. And so instead, here's how racist and misogynistic people are. Even the black people, as what DL said, that they voted for the worst human being we possibly could have in office.
One of the funniest things
So
you've
it's your
said,
fault, Democrats.
funniest sad things you've ever said. Sad, funny. Not funny, haha, but funny like, hey, is a lot of those Latino men that voted for her voted for him are regretting it from El Salvador.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's awkward.
They're like, you should have voted different.
I mean,
And all the people that were looking up, can I change my vote?
that's so stupid. Also, the Trump administration, they were going to do the Maha report,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
which doesn't totally work.
really
Make
have a
America
good ring to
healthy
it.
again. But
That's
whatever.
right. Under RFK Jr., they unveiled the Maha report.
Not the picture of health, that guy.
So he's really, no, he's not. They put out the document. Finally, they made a document, and it's basically all of RFK's crazy talking points, like vaccines and pollution and all that. Some of it, sure.
He swam in a river full of feces. He swam in a river full of sewage. Being healthy, going out. The man looks like a melanoma that was put in a toaster oven. Like, what is wrong with us? Why? How the hell is that the guy?
And he was a Democrat, which is the strangest thing.
So
power,
here's
though.
the thing. Well, so was Trump.
That's
That
true.
now health officials are coming out and saying that they've misinterpreted studies. They have cited studies in it that just flat don't exist.
Right.
For example, the document listed epidemiologist Catherine Keyes as the author of a study on anxiety in adolescents, except she didn't write that.
Is that a made up?
This
Trump
is
made that
an
name up.
official government plan that they've released.
That doesn't even have the right authors of whatever plan that doesn't exist. That's crazy.
She came out and made a statement that said neither I nor my colleagues were involved with this paper, and it's not a real paper.
But here's the problem: is that once it goes down to letting the news be propaganda. It comes down to because these people that need to hear this aren't hearing it.
Yeah.
And because they're not hearing it, what's happening is we're just going on. And if they do hear it, there's a conspiracy. Rogan, I just heard something. They played something. Someone MSNBC played Rogan talking about the Patriot Front. You guys know the Patriot Front? They're the Nazis.
That sounds like
the Best Buy Nazis.
Stormtroopers.
They're the Best Buy Nazis. They got the blue shirts and the khakis.
Yep.
And they always wear masks because they're so proud of what they believe. Fucking pussies. So Rogan says, "Oh man, this is now when the Patriot." He goes, "It's a plant. It's FBI. They're all agents. Every single one of them. Look up. There's not a fat one in the whole group, man. They're all agents. They're all FBI agents." And the second that Kash Patel gets in there, he says this on his show. Second Kash Patel gets in there, they're going to disband. You watch. Well, they just had a major protest 2 days ago, and so here's what bothers me about how dumb the Republican side, the right, is right now. If you give them a fact, if you lay it out exactly, right? Here it is. Here's the fact. Here's the evidence. Here's the backup evidence. I'm citing law. Oh, by the way, here's video. Oh, here's a recording. And they go, yeah, it's a deep state.
I got something for that. Interestingly.
I was wondering why I said, you guys know, we're looking at her. She had this knowing smile like,
Americans continue to choose Fox News Channel as the network dominates. So
What the fuck?
Fox News averaged 2.9 million weekday primetime viewers. They average 1.6 million total daytime viewers, which is compared to 545,000 for MSNBC. So they're tripling MSNBC's numbers.
So it's growing.
Explain to me how Fox News was ordered to pay an historic settlement.
almost $1 billion.
$787.5 million dollars. Historic. And people are still
because they lied.
And you can go and read Tucker's emails to
Talking about
Weinbach's,
this guy's a crazy. I hate this
whatever,
fucking guy.
Janine and the other
I hate Trump. I hate basically
the other one that I just couldn't stand.
Laura Ingraham.
Yeah, yes. Where they would have Trump on
And talk shit about him.
and then talk shit. And Tucker says something like, I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
And then they showed in their evidence, which is why they settled, that then that night they went on the news and said the opposite. So they showed a knowing. They joked about how he was losing. They knew he lost the election. Then they went on that night and said he won and it was stolen.
But this is what I mean now. So everyone has to invent a conspiracy because they can't admit that they fucked up. This guy is ruining the country.
So they're trying to sort of prop up their own bias, their own beliefs.
But you guys don't know this, but they've approved a $16 billion subsidy for farmers that lost their contracts because all the tariff bullshit. Like chaos is the game. It's just chaos. So whether it's 9/11, oh man, it didn't happen, man. That 9/11, it didn't happen, man. Here's a video where the plane's invisible. Hey man, the buildings fell down. I don't mean to be a dick.
Also, I've had people write in and tell me that the Pentagon thing didn't happen. And even again this Monday, every year, my stepfather toasts on Memorial Day. So every year, I'm sorry, I just received a photo of a family member with Viktor Orban. Let me click off of that. Ooh, that's awkward.
Wow.
I'll show you guys in a minute. Awkward holidays at my house.
Not anymore. We just go.
His name was Vince Tolbert. He was an offensive lineman at the Naval Academy. This is my stepfather toasting me, sending me a picture of his scotch. But I knew him as my intelligence buddy in CENTCOM, who would task satellites to cover what I was interested in seeing. He was killed in the 9/11 Pentagon, but people say it never happened. Pentagon thing was completely made up.
What's really funny is to watch them make it up and just twist himself into pretzels when the evidence is just the evidence. I don't need to see. I'm good.
Oh,
that guy's the biggest dickhead, dictator, asshole. And so, in fact, Trump. Here's how Trump's. It's a you saw it in the Armageddon update. Trump at one point goes, "Viktor Orban, great man, the president of Turkey." Hungary, dipshit.
What did he say? He called him Turkey president?
Yeah, he called him.
Also, he's prime minister.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Very great leader. He's so stupid. So, but here's
Apple.
But here's what we have. So now we've got the Democrats lying their ass off, trying to make up a reason why this guy got elected and not blaming themselves. Had you guys just put your biases aside and voted. Because now what you've got is you got a guy who literally doesn't care if they level Gaza. They're turning it into a building site right now. And it was 1,700 kids have died. So you guys fucked up. You Democrats, don't quit blaming Biden for being old. Biden did his job. Steele said something really interesting on the phone. He goes, you can say what you mean. The man had dementia, but his soul didn't have dementia. His heart didn't have dementia. What he stood for didn't have dementia.
And he surrounded himself with people
They're brilliant.
Yeah, his admin didn't have dementia.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks, Steele. It was a really enlightening phone call for me, and it's inspired this Armageddon update. But I will say this: Cory Booker, do you hear? I don't understand what the Democrats are doing. So you put in Kushner's dad as the ambassador to France?
Speaking of Cory Booker, this episode brought to you by Harry's. I don't know. He shaves his head. I don't know. He's got a bald head. You just yakety yak.
Like she has to link it now.
Don't
Here's
talk
a thin
back.
thread.
That's me. Don't talk back. Yakety yak.
Nope. He's not going on.
You can do a speaking of and then just try to tie it in later. Speaking of.
True.
And then
So speaking of that, just literally less than an hour ago.
I have photographic evidence. If I'm gonna zoom into my neck, you can see a little redness. Look at that.
You see it? Can you hear it?
I don't think that's the best ad for
It's
Harry.
not because I didn't use Harry's. I'm in the middle of moving still. It's a 3-month process. It's a saga.
It's a 3-year process.
It never ending.
I couldn't find everything's in boxes and whatever. So I had to just go and get just from the supermarket, and I just grabbed the see another brand.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And I
because
just
I've
had to
never
go.
seen.
And man, it's my body is just like, where's your Harry's, dude?
In a box
Dude,
somewhere.
yeah.
To be fair, I never use, and now that I'm thinking about this is the first razor that I do not use shaving cream or anything with.
Right.
I just realized that I used to have to, or else my legs would look like that.
I just soaped my face up, and it was because we were getting ready for the ad.
I do too.
I go, what are the ads today? And she goes, sorry. Let me shave before I go. And I soap, done. I was done.
I didn't even think about that, but it's got I don't want to say the L word or the M word strip.
The lesbian
Moisture
strip?
or
lubrication.
Oh, lubrications?
Oh,
you don't like that
God.
either? Anything that has to do with
I have
with
no
moisture?
idea. Moisture and lubrication.
Oh, do you remember that was Fetus's nickname for his little game?
Lubricated
The
moisture?
N-word. Remember?
Oh,
I just
God.
remembered that. Little Fetus,
Her-
back in the day on the podcast, that's what his buddies nicknamed him.
Oh, because he's a fetus, because they come out.
I don't know
Lubricated
why,
and
actually.
moisture.
And actually,
Yeah, we
I
didn't
think
wanna
we
know.
we chose not to ask
when
why
someone
his
goes, my nickname is
buddies-
Moisture, I'm like, we stop. We're going to stop.
All right, Puff
We're
Daddy.
stopping right there.
I
We're
guess
gonna
we
stop
did.
right
I
there.
guess we did stop. Yeah, Puff Daddy did a lot of L-ing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And emming.
Ugh. So
Harry's is awesome. Go
I have
back
all
to
the
the
Harrys.
ad.
I have all the Harrys. I have the craft handle. I have the old school metal Pride handle. I have so many of them. I have one at the cabin, one in my travel thing, one in the shower here.
Yeah, me too. Same.
And I love all of them. I'm using the craft handle, the newer one now, the most. But I love the razor. I love all their other products. I did notice, I would like to say, I noticed finally. So yesterday I was peeing and I looked over at the shower and I realized, I tell you guys that there's
There's 4
like
bottles of Harry's. Yeah.
12 altogether with the shampoo and the 2-in-1 and the,
Yep.
and I noticed that 3 of them, he buys the economy size ones, were the same. They're the same. They're Redwood body wash.
Sometimes I think I'm
And
running out.
then last
You're
night,
hoarding it.
something magical happened. 2 Redwood body wash empty bottles went into the garbage, and I was like,
Because I have that.
There's room.
I've got the massive 50-gallon drum one for the body wash
Mhm.
with the big pump thing.
Yep.
So I loaded it. It was getting empty. So I loaded them. I
Filling
loaded
it up into
That's a
consolidate.
very adult thing to do right
Yeah.
there.
I'm
But
a big boy.
yes, you are. I love it because I tell you guys this all the time because I think it's ridiculous that if you go and look at the big body wash, I think it's like 16 ounces. It's like $7 or something. And then
25.
doesn't go up. No, you get the large economy size. I mean, the one that's like this tall that you get at Target or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
$7. It's crazy. So what you get, you should get the starter set. That way you get everything and you can try it all and then you'll be completely
Still
hooked.
amazingly cheap.
You can do customizable delivery options. You can schedule your refills for as low as $2, which is way less than half of what you pay for other crap that does that. You get the 5-blade razor, the weighted handle, the foaming shave gel, and the travel cover for just $5 at harrys.com/bombshell. Get the shaving products that always deliver. Get Harry's. Normally this trial set's $10, but right now you can get it for just $5, all included at harrys.com/bombshell. That's harrys.com/bombshell. You'll love it, I promise.
Nobody we've turned Harry's onto has said, no.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh my God,
Yeah,
this is a
everybody calls
life
you,
changer.
why didn't you tell me this a year ago?
Uh-huh.
We've been telling you. But buy 1 Redwood body wash, not 3, please.
I just sometimes I'm when I'm
Save some for the rest of us.
Yeah, really.
okay.
Oh God, you should see his Harry's hair paste stacked under the sink.
No, it's getting low now. Here's the problem. Everything that Harry's has done, I use the body wash, the hairspray. And so what happens is I go to wherever they have it, and it's usually they have 1 or 2 left. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see them, I'm like,
well, that's what happens to me with the razors. I'm like scouring the aisle, and I went to 2 Ralphs looking for Harry's, and I had to just settle for some other razor burn.
They carry
version.
it at Target, I think.
You can also order it online.
Yeah,
couldn't
but he
wait,
didn't
though.
have time
I could-
to wait.
yeah, I
I'd
clearly.
do that. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah, he
now
looks
I
great.
guess
He
you
looks
did.
scruffy as shit.
Now you did have time. So there's a lot going on with babies. Namely that women are merely incubators for them and not valuable as human beings, even though we were once babies ourselves.
I'm glad
And
she said it.
We make babies alone.
What's your point?
There was by the way, there was a great
Once
thing.
you implant us, we
There-
just make them by ourselves.
So what's happened on X? All these right wing dickheads have
Yeah.
come over to Threads now, and it's getting ugly again.
Oh.
And one of them was like, men invented everything. Men came up with all math. Men came up with this. What did women come up with? And what did women make? I put men. Idiot. We made them men. Men.
Like Mallory Patrice Strait, the Texas woman, she just got released from jail this past week. She spent almost 5 months in prison, in custody in jail for miscarrying in a public bathroom. She was
Oh my God.
arrested and charged with corpse abuse. accused of trying to flush fetal remains. Ultimately, within these 5 months that she has been in jail after having a miscarriage, the medical examiner has concluded that she did in fact miscarry and that her fetus died in utero. Okay. So they let her go. 5 months. What she really needed was health care because she miscarried.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's been in jail for 5 months. That's awesome.
People, did you hear what she just said? A woman has been in jail in Texas because her baby died in the womb and she had a miscarriage. So her body did what it was supposed to do, and she got jailed for it. We are not waiting for dictatorship to happen. We are currently in a dictatorship. I love that. Dio was talking about this too, man. He goes, keep talking about DEI. He goes, Governor of Texas. He goes, that motherfucker still be on step 3 if he didn't have ransoms. He'd still be in a parking lot going, I'm supposed to be running stuff. It's all, but that's the whole thing. It's all hypocrisy. All of it's hypocrisy. So you say you want freedom of speech, but you ban books. You say you hate DEI, but the governor of Texas needs DEI to do his fucking job. Like you're all full of shit. You're just full of shit. The entire right wing is full of shit. And Cory Booker is full of shit. You can't just stand for democratic ideals and go, I'm going to put in Jared Kushner's dad. Like, what's the number on that? What was the money number, Cory? What, now I heard something. There was a guy online that I called Cory Booker out. I watched him, this guy follow, and he said Cory Booker called him. He was actually on the phone with Cory Booker. And he goes, we don't understand. Like, as Democrats, like, you put in the guy's dad who got $2 billion from Saudi.
Right.
Cory goes, well, you know what? At the beginning, when I started out in New Jersey, he goes, this guy helped a lot. He helped a lot
he defended him?
with education, and he helped a lot with, getting black people jobs, and he helped a lot with it. And it was such a vague, Manson also, I heard, made a great omelet. I'm not going to his restaurant.
He was a decent guitar player.
Exactly. But I didn't buy the album.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand, this is not a time to go with the other side to make it work, to reach across the aisle, because they've set the aisle on fire.
Well, that's extenuating, right? So some lawmakers say that traditionally they always voted for whomever the president nominated because that was, procedure and decorum. But this guy is a felon. So,
he's a felon.
You had a reason not to.
He had to be pardoned.
Speaking of pardons, I happen to have something open about that right here. Trump on Monday, 100 and something days into his
120
presidency, which normally this is done at the end as sort of a Hail Mary. He has started pardoning people like crazy. He pardoned the Culpeper County Sheriff Scott Jenkins, who didn't serve his time, has shown no contrition for his crime, which is usually what happens with pardons. He was about to go to federal prison for 10-year sentence for bribery and corruption. They had him on video and audio. He very clearly did it.
So is Trump leaving?
So wait a minute. So we had evidence that this guy committed the crime.
He was giving wealthy people deputy badges and letting them be deputies in
so they
exchange
could get out of tickets. For what?
For cash. He got over $100,000 in envelopes stuffed with cash and checks. He took checks.
That's really a low level. That's so he was new to corruption, obviously. Just wow.
Since Venmo me, but make sure you put in the 4 line.
Yeah.
Bribery for deputy badge.
So I know what it's for.
He also, Jenkins, of course, repeatedly in the media said that he was a victim of a weaponized Biden Justice Department, despite the fact that 6 people who paid him bribes pled guilty and cooperated.
So wait, and then the jury of his peers convicted him.
Yep.
And then we let him go. So we have a theory about, Ray and I were talking outside.
He got pardoned and went right on the war room. I just wanted to throw that out
keep
there.
going.
And then let me just tell you really quickly before you get to this thing, because we have a conspiracy theory. But he also pardoned those reality show people, Todd and Julie Chrisley of the Chrisley Knows
Best
Show.
Millions of dollars.
They've defrauded banks of over $36 million.
And he pardoned them.
And evaded taxes for 3 years. Martha Stewart would like a word.
Yes. Didn't their mother donate to Trump? And then a few days later,
that's the other guy.
So,
that's somebody else.
So everyone that he's pardoning, we are finding, has a family member that paid him money, and now they're getting pardoned.
He's the payola president.
So
He makes Huey
and
Long
then
like Mother
his
Teresa.
lawyer said, his pardon lawyer said, no MAGA left behind today. Tweeted
Yeah,
that or
his
something.
his lawyer said no MAGA left behind. Doesn't
So do whatever you want. Crime as much as you want.
well, he has to.
Puff Daddy's like putting on a MAGA hat.
Listen. We were talking about this. He released. Listen, anybody who gets arrested for backing him up, the 1,600 people that were convicted of crimes for January 6th.
Yep.
All he's doing is letting everybody know that when the shit breaks off, don't worry about it. I got you covered.
For instance,
Oh, God.
Trump sold his meme coin $ Trump, which just looks like Strump.
It does look like
So we'll just call it Strump.
the Strump coin.
He held a soiree for the highest bidders who put $148 million into the Trump family platform for crypto. The Chinese winner, Justin's son, purchased $18.5 million of Strump, which is a worthless nothing.
It's an ETF.
So what he did was
It's
he handed Trump $18.5 million. And he said he was so grateful for the invitation, but I bet he's really grateful too that 1 month after Trump got in office, he paused the SEC investigation happening against this guy for an ongoing fraud case.
What the fuck? Yo, how are we letting this fucking corruption at this level go on?
I had a theory about it because it's out in the open because he's doing it so blatantly. People are like, it must be okay. Like we have this weird thing where like, it must be okay. So here's the theory. So Ray goes yesterday, and I was thinking, we were talking in the kitchen, and I go,
Welcome to Titus and Ray's conspiracy theory.
I go, why he's pardoning people like this early? And then she goes, yeah. And then we both at the same time were like, oh shit, he's getting us ready to pardon P. Diddy.
He's going to pardon him. Mark our words, because where did Diddy have all of his freak offs when he was in New York?
The Trump properties. Come to the Trump properties.
Trump Manhattan.
By the way, bring
Where?
as much baby oil as you can
And
carry.
he did. He took 1,000 bottles the week that his properties were being seized and searched
He stayed
in
at
both states. Where did he go that week?
They had their last freak out at
Freak off. Freak out.
Freak out, whatever.
Is where
That's what
people...
that's what we're doing now.
Freak out is what I do every night when I'm trying to sleep. Freak off is very different. It involved 1,000 bottles of baby oil that he transported. So let's be very clear.
So
he
Trump-
knew he was being indicted. He took that little space of time and went to Trump Hotel and had one last freak off at Trump Hotel.
Filmed it.
Here's what we know. We know that he, in his homes here and there, they specifically said the LA home where those parties were really big. He had wired every bedroom for audio and video. And they
For
also
Epstein.
specifically said that they removed.
He got the Epstein IKEA thing. He was like, okay.
They removed tons of footage. They were reviewing. It was going to take years to
video
to
go through it.
Yeah.
And imagine, so Puff Daddy played in a very elite group of people who were invited to the freak offs. And so who could those videos be of? And
let
Trump
me
Tower.
ask you this. Because
Ask
Trump
away.
has never wanted to be, and this is all made up, by the way. Welcome to us making some stuff up for funsies. Trump has never wanted to rub elbows with the rich and famous and powerful, has he? Ever?
No, he hates it.
Hates it. And he very clearly knows Diddy and has connections and ties to him and instructed his people to look the other way and keep their mouth shut when the shit was happening in this very nice hotel and cleaning up after it. Although his assistant testified that he did the preliminary cleaning every time to remove the heroin, the ketamine, never mind.
The big ticket items.
The used
moist things.
Bleh.
The shiny things.
That had been elled. They
By the way,
were
another
emmed
word-
and elled.
Another word, glisten. Not a good word.
Oh, I don't mind that one.
If you compare it to moisture, glisten is not good.
I like glisten. I glisten
And
when
lubrication
I
and glisten?
work out in the sun.
You do
I glisten.
You do.
I really hate, after finding out that our neighbor chopped up his wife and her parents in his garage right a few blocks away, I learned that I hated the word seeping from the news
Not a good
story.
word. Not a good
When
word.
handed the garbage bags, the gardeners noticed that they were
Seeping.
There's
There's a bunch of words that are that, and it's funny. I never thought of it; they were just words. But then she had this weird thing with a couple words that you couldn't say, and now you've infected me with it. Now there's words that I go.
And P. I don't like the P word either.
in civil engineering. There's
for women's panties? Underoos.
She gets really mad. Like seriously, it's fun to watch her get mad. I mean, it's not that fun.
Panties is on the list.
Oh my
of
God.
Grossness.
Stop.
Oh, it is.
Once a year, my brother will
It's
say.
the opposite of for me. It's
Once a
it's
year.
my favorite word.
Oh, it's like panties?
No, oh my God.
Go ahead, don't you? It's
Just
my
say
favorite.
underwear or be like Grandma Jean and say your drawers.
Or underwears.
Drawers.
My brother, once a year, he says you get one a year because he hates both of those words too. So there's something behind this. But he once a year will say he'll combine them, the MPs, and that.
I mean, to us, it seems like
And it's a beautiful
dainty ladies
That's
No.
a beautiful.
things.
It's
So
beautiful.
disgusting.
It's amazing. It's everything.
What are you talking
It's
about?
everything
Your
like-
ex wore flannel long johns.
she was wearing drawers. Yeah.
She had on drawers.
So we think so here's the theory, guys. The theory is that we
She
believe
wore tidy whiteys.
yeah, she did.
They're
Like,
her peas.
and she used the flap. That's how gay she was.
Okay.
She's very
Oh, I just pictured that.
gay.
That's gross.
So
that happens to women that use steroids.
here's what we think. We think that Trump is because there's no reason to do the pardons right now unless people are paying for them. But also,
They never do.
It gets all of us used to people pardoning. So when he pardons Diddy,
And
by the-
like star people, like the reality show people.
yeah,
It's also in the mix of his chaos,
And
too. So
it would
it's-
explain why Diddy requested speedy trial. Because I know from
If he knows
a
Trump's
family
gonna pardon-
member that works for HSI who's the one that not prosecuted, but investigated this case and then seized both properties, that it was an insurmountable amount of footage that they needed to catalog and go through and
and
organize. And he requested a speedy trial, which is his right, but he's in court already. And already this trial, they're saying, won't end until like the third week of July.
Wait a second though. Look up Elon Musk and the freak offs.
He's oddly confident.
Because there was something Elon said in an interview, and he goes, if he loses, I'm fucked.
I do remember that.
He said that.
Elon said that.
Elon said that in an interview, and I wonder. So imagine who was in these. I mean, that's a very heady circle. Jay-Z, Beyonce. I mean, Puff Daddy. It's So there is no way that anybody wants this coming out. So
I know that Elon.
Our conspiracy theory is
Elon on X, what he calls Twitter, openly said, so he posted about it and expressed some revelations about P. Diddy's files indicating the freak-off parties. He said that he questioned the charges against him, questioned the allegations, basically taking Diddy's side. I know. How do you?
As he heiled Hitler.
as he heiled the Hitler.
Musk had previous ties with P. Diddy. P. Diddy was one of the investors in X.
There we go.
In several different instances, he referred to P. Diddy as a good friend in the past, indicating that they talked frequently.
Oh no. So here's the problem with all of this. In the past, if we had a decent president, we had someone who wasn't weaponizing the DOJ, was not using it as their own personal police force, didn't have morons. I listened to Don Bongino talking today, and first of all, another thing, more hypocritical bullshit. Don Bongino or Dan Bongino, whatever the fuck his name is, he actually was talking about on his radio show. They played it where he was talking about Epstein. The cameras had to break, and the people took a break.
Yep.
And so he just happened to kill himself. They interview him and Kash Patel about, tell us about the Epstein suicide. He goes, it was obviously a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, you said on your radio show or your podcast for the last 5 years that he killed himself, that someone killed him. Now you're saying, yeah. And this guy talks like this. Who we got in the fucking FBI right now? I'm to the point, but you realize
Yahoo and Snopes fact checked, because a lot of photos are surfacing of people with Diddy. One of them was Kamala. It's fake. They fact checked that. But there are 2 different places where Trump and Diddy are together. They're seated together at tables, with Melania, and Snopes and Yahoo both found those fact checked to be true. Mm-hmm. It's available on Getty Images. One was a Russell Simmons gala. And the other is with Melania at something, and they're very clearly.
He said he was a great guy on his TV show.
Do you guys realize that all these people that were at the freak offs were very wealthy, high up, huge celebrities with a ton of money? We've got Trump running things. Trump doesn't give a shit about the American people. Never did. Never has. Never, as he's seen by people who voted for him. Those Latinos are so funny. We voted for Trump, man, Mr. Trump. And now you're in El Salvador, dude.
So he's pardoning all kinds of famous people.
So we think what he's doing is he's getting us used to it. So when he pardons Diddy, we all go, yeah, he just pardons everybody.
Because he, in addition to those twats,
but the
reality
criminal
twats, NBA Youngboy.
But the criminal
Rod Blagojevich.
That guy was stone cold busted.
Jay
too.
Johnston, who was an anchorman in Mr. Show. I'm offended that they say he's an actor and a comedian. No, he is not. He was at January 6th. Lil Wayne. I forgot he pardoned Lil Wayne.
The guys who were plotting to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer.
Kodak Black. Yeah. I'm just pointing out that he's pardoning rappers and reality show people, like, of course,
get us primed for it.
So Diddy's like, give me a speedy trial, let's get this over, I don't have to sit in jail this long. And he said also, just in case someone else does come into office, let's get this handled now.
Yeah, he wants it done now because they dragged the trial out, and it goes what Trump did. Basically, he drug it all out until he got it. So but if you go the opposite, Trump's going to bail you out because you were staying at his fucking hotels doing your shit.
Do you know what kind of mess would be left behind?
Do you know how disheartening this podcast has become for me? Week to week, there is no upside. I don't see, at least when Biden was there, the Infrastructure Act got passed. Oh, they're fighting the good fight. He's a good man. Now we got this scumbag who basically on the daily continues to inject chaos and nightmare into our country. And DL said this too when we were talking. We both noticed how quiet the people on the right have gotten. Yeah. Like the people that voted, they've gotten quiet because they're like, wait. I didn't want to lose my farming contract. I wanted to fuck those people.
Remind me to tell
I wanted to fuck those people over. I didn't want to get
After I tell you, this episode's brought to you by HelloFresh.
By far the best.
Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Delicious.
Quick stuff that comes to your house. You don't have to go to the grocery store.
Never had one meal from HelloFresh where I was like, not once.
So this is one that you cook at home, but they take all the guesswork out of it. They that way you know what you're having for dinner. Everything for that dinner is in its own bag.
Pre-portioned.
You take the beautiful recipe card, or you go online if you're, techie, and you make this meal. And I am terrible at multitasking. HelloFresh has taught me to multitask. They take all of it into account. If you just follow their steps in order, you'll have 3 things going at once,
right?
Which I usually can't do. And it all comes together at exactly the same time.
But also the right amount of proportion, seasoning, the flavor, like the zesting of the thing, and
the comic book menu.
It's just
everything.
Crazy. It's just crazy.
You can pick every week. There's like 40 or 50 recipes. You can go pick. I like to do that with mine. Or if you forget, they'll pick for you, and we have never been steered wrong. We have occasionally been judgy and then been proven wrong. I honestly, not one time have we ever been unhappy with a meal.
I'm always actually surprised how good everything tastes.
So they're now doing ready-made meals, which are chef-crafted, flavorful dishes that are ready in 3 minutes.
What?
Yes. So you can eat and get back to your life. They use high quality ingredients. It's seasonal, fresh produce and proteins that go farm to your doorstep. And you can pause it. It's very flexible and very easy and very pretty website. And don't go when you're hungry.
Yeah, eat. Yeah, so do me a favor, eat first, because if you go there when you're hungry, you'll go ooh.
Because they also now have the pantry stuff, so they have like over 100 seasonal snacks and sides and treats, and you can get breakfast stuff that's already made. It's overwhelming if you're hungry.
How do we get it?
So feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule. Make the season even more delicious. You just go to HelloFresh.com/Titus10FM now to get 10 free meals with a free item for the life of your subscription. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals will be applied as a discount on your first box, and this is for new subscribers only, varies by plan. HelloFresh.com/Titus10FM for free meals.
Guys, there's something I saw yesterday, and I thought about it. It's so true. We are not heading towards dictatorship. We are in one.
Yep.
When they're taking people off the streets with no due process anymore, we're here. So just face it. We're here. So you have to choose tyranny or revolution, and because the only way this ends is tyranny or revolution. Either we accept it, we get sucked, and we continue going on the road to it gets tighter and worse and worse, and women are going to jail for having a miscarriage, and people are getting taken out of it. He said, I can't wait to start taking U.S. citizens off the street. So he's not doing anything the Supreme Court tells him to do. His tariffs just got ruled illegal, which means he can't do it.
He has actually asked the Supreme Court to unpause that, right?
Right. So here's the problem, though. The problem is that it doesn't matter now what happens. If the Supreme Court says everything he did is wrong, he has still injected so much chaos into what the rest of the world thinks of us that we're fucked.
The damage is
like Canada, one of our best trading partners, is going to be like, fuck you guys, fuck off.
An agreement that he made.
Yeah, his own agreement. Mexico, same. Imagine all these. Europe, he tried to fuck Europe over. He screwed Ukraine. Like he has made it so the world cannot trust us anymore at all.
Other countries are now renegotiating their trade deals with China. They're just going directly to China instead of us. And he's wrecking the dollar. So if the dollar
we've
is
been
not
downgraded. Our credit has been
that's
downgraded.
right.
Yeah. How do you fuck up the credit of the United States of America in 90 days?
Biden did that. Just that. If Biden did that, he would have been
How do you fuck up getting $450 million from your dad and go bankrupt?
6 times.
Okay.
By the way, guys,
we know how.
So if you thought a guy that bankrupt 4 casinos was going to fix our country, you're out of your fucking mind. So and
Tesla sales have plummeted in Europe, so that's
the company's over. Buy Rivian. People, I own a Rivian. It is
49%.
It is so much better
drop
built
in Europe.
Yeah, 71%.
Elon has announced that he is going to take a step away from government, and that it did not was not as successful as he had hoped.
He's going to cut $2 trillion. He's going to cut $1 trillion. They ended up cutting $130 billion. On top of that, it wasn't actually fraud and waste. It was actual contracts that we'd already paid people. On top of that, guess what it cost to actually have the Doge crew come in? Guess what it cost? It was like $160 billion. No, sorry. They said they saved 160. It cost $132 billion to actually do what he did.
Elon said, "I've done enough."
No shit. To
the fucking planet.
I will tell you guys that I am experiencing it firsthand because we haven't talked about this, but last night finished my training.
You guys are sitting with a hero today. So Rachel has
made it through.
Tell them what cost.
I have court observation hours left, 3 hours, and then I get sworn in by a judge on June 5th. Court-appointed special advocate, and it's for foster children. And there is a waiting list for CASAs because judges order it, because CASAs are ultimately the most influential in a foster child's outcome. So we're the only people that can speak to all the attorneys, the parent's attorney, the kid's attorney, the judge, the kid, the social worker, the kid. I'm the only one that can sit with the kid, other than that one attorney prior to court. I'll be, in the back room where they keep the kids, outside of the hearing.
And just so you know, guys, this is volunteer. Ray has volunteered to actually represent kids in the foster system and help them get off the street and be their advocate for when something goes wrong. And
we're the only people that specifically advocate for the child, but I work on behalf of the court for the child.
Walking the walk is what I'm saying.
And I got to have this presentation last night by this woman that's doing it who has 3, and all 3 of them are CSEC. And she said, be careful what you, commercial sexual exploitation of children.
Yeah, thank you.
Be careful what you ask for. She goes, because I checked that on what cases I would be willing to take. I did too. And so she has girls that are on the street with Johns who, yes. Wow. And she's, you know, one of the girls got taken to Northern California. And
Johns are pimps. They're on the street with pimps. When they pimp, John is a
customer.
John's a customer, right?
Yes. Sorry, but she did say John's because she has so many.
Oh God.
And there was an instance where one of the Johns took her to Northern California. She's underage, and this CASA was responsible for getting the police involved, getting the social worker, and getting
who was going to be pardoned. He'll eventually be pardoned by Trump.
I'm sure. So
we need a John Wick section.
It's like heavy.
You
have to learn so many laws and so much history, and then California, we have so many social programs that are available depending on each kid's specific needs. And so this week was a lot of CSEC stuff.
So she's going to be represented for a kid that's on the street or has bad families or has is in a foster system and needs disabilities. And you're taking
I'm
that
with
on.
them. I'm with them. I see them during the month, and I then go to their school and their doctor. All these people have to talk to me. If they're in a resource or
you have to go to their school too?
They've changed the names, of course, because we're liberals. You can't say group home or foster home anymore. It's resource home or STRTP.
Which stands for what?
Short-term therapeutic rehabilitation program.
That fixed it. Thank God the problem's getting fixed. Thank God the problem's getting fixed.
To get rid of the stigma. But anyway, and then I go to court and represent this child and advocate. So it's pretty cool. But
being around
point being, they cut the funding completely for CASA. So my class was supposed to end today. And last Thursday, my 2 teachers who work for CASA doing this work, training people, were told they weren't going to have a job anymore. And so I had to I had a couple options. I opted to finish quickly because I'm afraid of what's coming. So I hopped into a night class last night and finished. And then I still get sworn in on the 5th. But he cut all the funding.
He's cutting funding for that, food. There's kids starving to death in America now because of this asshole.
And these amounts are relatively
a drop in the bucket.
Unnoticeable.
A drop in the bucket. The $130 billion that actually Elon Musk wasted doing Doge could have been handled all these programs. But here's the thing. Dictators and authoritarians need chaos because what happens is if you don't have a program anymore and if you have law enforcement angry, ICE has gotten crazy. ICE is getting they're just yanking people off the street.
Dogs.
Yeah, they basically let these bullies go. And so what's happened is that when you get chaos, all of a sudden we stop complaining about the government. And what happens is we start trying to survive, which is why Biden didn't get elected. Back to the subject again, because they were bitching about eggs. You fragile bitches were bitching about eggs because everything was going so well. Inflation was down to 2.4%. So we are now in a place where you guys have voted for chaos. You have chaos, and now you're trying to blame Biden, who didn't want to be president anyway.
No, he didn't.
He didn't want to. His kid had died. He didn't want to be president. We begged him, please. You're the only guy that can beat him. And now that you put a 78-year-old guy in, and now he's 82 and he got dementia. Now you're pissed. It's his fault. Fuck off.
Yeah, as he's dying after serving his country, let's also annihilate him as well as his record and his image.
Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper is an asshole. Trump is also going after trans people. Obviously, as usual. But can everybody stop calling it the big, beautiful bill? Stop talking like he does. Stop normalizing it. It sounds like a word that we can't say anymore.
He wanted it to be called that. So then these other fucking pussy ass Democrats are calling it that too.
I got a big, beautiful brain. It's a big, beautiful bill. It's an abnormal way of talking that makes him sound like he's 3. Now the media is calling it the big, beautiful bill, even in these stories. So if this passes, what he's doing to Medicaid, is going to
800
affect
billion.
275,000 transgender people who are on Medicaid and are receiving their hormone treatment.
What about the 17 million people that are going to lose their health care?
Oh, yeah. And then that's just going to affect people with health care. It's
So,
not going to.
so we're going to have death rates go up again, which he already killed 1 million the first time. I think he really wants to double it. So everything that remember when
What about
Project
the women that are forced to carry babies to term that are already dead or that threaten their lives?
and they're going to go septic and die.
A lot of people die.
2025, Project 2025. Do you remember when he said, I don't even know, I've never read it, I don't know what it is. You remember when well, check in the big beautiful bill, deep inside of
Stop
it.
saying it.
In the
Big stupid bill.
the big bullshit bill,
Yeah.
the big bullshit bill that is currently being done. And of all people, Liz Cheney pointed it out. Guys, it says in here right now that if a president does not follow a contempt order, there can be no enforcement of it.
Mhm.
He basically
They
made
hid
it.
stuff
It's
in-
in there. They hid stuff in the bill that if they sign it, it goes. And there was one senator
Yeah.
got busted for it. And he goes, I didn't really read it. Your
you fucking
only fucking
motherfucker.
job
Yeah.
is we pay you.
And
No.
they're now saying, how will you feel if another president's in office from the other party? Like, Democrats are having to say that to Republicans. Like, well, what if
But and then again,
this episode brought to you by
shit.
Ridge Wallet.
oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you also have a
Where
big,
is it?
giant, crusty brick? Oh, you left
gotta
it
go get it.
upstairs?
My
Oh,
rich wallet? I'll go get it.
Yeah.
I'll show a picture of my old wallet that it came from.
Yeah,
Holy
because I
shit,
love
right here.
because I love my Ridge.
The Ridge Wallet is such
Thin.
an upgrade for Ken.
Oh my God.
It's an upgrade for
They
everyone.
brought
My
Ken into the
niece
century.
carries one now.
Yep.
But
You got the purple one, right?
yeah, she
Yeah.
has a purple one. But no, she got black cherry.
Black cherry, right.
Yours is the
I got the
purple
purple
one.
one.
Yeah. She got black cherry, and it's really pretty color. But Ken had a giant crusty leather brick that he used to carry.
Basically, like a '70s detective in the shittiest TV show ever, where they made it was always a joke.
He sat sideways
Yeah, he did.
when he was editing.
He had scoliosis
He
because of
did.
the wallet he used to have.
Ridge, if you haven't seen them, it's this really slim kind of modern design that holds up to 12 cards plus cash. And they're made
Check
with
it.
premium materials like aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber. Did you get the carbon? No, you got the green one. Okay, so show.
Look at this. It's just like one
Isn't
fat
it
But
credit
show
card.
how you
Dude,
do.
having it in your pocket, isn't it so much better than
Oh my
like?
God.
So there's a side place. You push your
See, it's a
finger.
little
And
Yeah.
you can
section
get,
right
you can get
here.
it out of your pocket when you're in the car.
And if you had cash, that's where it would go, right there.
Yep.
See,
Yep. I don't
see.
have cash. Man.
I love these, man. So all you do is flip it open, guy. Boom, you do the little thumb thing. You can get to it. Boom, flip. Pick the card you want. Boom. It's almost like it's like smaller than a deck of cards.
all Ridge
Like a
products
little-
have a lifetime warranty. So this is literally the last wallet Ken is
They're
ever
legit.
going to buy. They also all have RFID blocking technology, which I love. So digital pickpocketers
can't-
can't come
Mhm.
scan your cards and steal from you. Over 100,000 5-star reviews. So also they now have the Ridge AirTag attachment. So that way, for people that always lose their wallet, you don't have to panic. You just click that on and you can just go see where your Ridge wallet is at any times.
I'm better than I used to be.
You are better. They also make key cases, suitcases, rings, all built with that same kind of sleek, modern design.
Can I add something to this? You know
Yeah.
what this helps with the habit
What?
with the old style, like fold out leather ones? You would end up putting receipts and other horse shit
Yeah,
and
yeah, it was
parking
a pocket.
tickets in there.
Yeah.
And it would just turn into a
Purse.
filing cabinet.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't with this. And it really teaches you to be deliberate and clean and concise
Yeah.
about what you're putting in your wallet.
It's just night
Free
and day.
shipping, 99-day risk-free trial, lifetime warranty on every product. Right now, Father's Day. This is a great
Oh, yeah.
Father's Day
Yep.
gift.
Order today. Yep.
They're having a huge sale. You can get up to 40% off your order at ridge.com/Titus. That's RIDGE.com/Titus to get the perfect gift for your dad and for yourself at the same time. At the end, when you check out, they're going to say, where did you hear about us? Tell them that Titus Podcast sent you because it helps us out. Give dad the upgrade he deserves this year. Ridge
Parking
wallets.
tickets, I didn't mean like when you the police gives you parking ticket. I mean, when you go into a parking garage and you pull the ticket.
I like that Ken's now worried about that.
What just happened? That's how normal Ken is. He's like, wait, I didn't mean I got parking tickets.
Yeah, I'll be like,
that was Ken's freak out.
Guys, you need to face something. You need to face something. We are in the darkest time in American history, at least in our lifetimes. And I want you to do something. You have to decide, man. Tyranny or revolution, man. You're going to start thinking like that. You got to start thinking like that because it's coming. They're not changing it. They're not changing. Tyranny or revolution. I don't know why that changes it, but it's perfect. All right, let's go. 2 years ago. And now back to 2 years ago. Remember 2 years ago when everything was better?
Better days.
And on the daily, we didn't hear some horrible nightmare from a Stephen King book.
Now, this is kind of a sad thing, but it just shows how Biden had empathy and he had loss in his life, and it grounded him, and it made him the president that we needed.
Yes.
2 years ago today, Biden attended a memorial mass to mark 8 years since his son Beau died from brain cancer.
Poor Biden.
Yeah, so he's had a lot of
He was
trauma.
always doing things like showing up and stepping into people's pain, which I found personally a lot of people do not do.
Do you remember that little kid that had a stutter and he took him aside of the line and he goes, hey, I'm going to give you some tricks. And he gave the kid like 3 things to not stutter. And he said, I stuttered and I ended up being president, man. You got anything? And it's like one of those things where you go, oh, what happened to that? Now we got a guy who at any moment
who spoke at West Point and veered off onto a guy with a trophy wife.
That was a weird. We used a clip of it in the Armageddon update. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But Biden's not all there.
Was that also the speech where he was talking about how it's always about him?
Yes.
Me.
Yes.
I was saying, I got the...
I rebuilt the military. He said, I rebuilt the military.
Okay, that one. But he said, I got the Olympics and I got the
soccer
tournament or whatever. Like, fucker, you didn't get any of this shit. Stop fucking talking like that.
He also said in the same sentence that he goes, had they not rigged the election, I wouldn't have been able to fix that.
Twice he said that.
He said that's right. Like
Snopes and Yahoo Fact Check. Go look it up. It's I saw it on C-SPAN's website.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I know, listen, I'll tell you this. We're not going to give you conspiracy theories. We have an idea. We think what he's doing. But I mean, when it comes to like people saying the FBI is part of the Patriot Front, you're not going to hear that. You're only going to hear the truth. So do me a favor. Keep screaming sanity to everybody. I do understand that some of these people you can't argue with. No matter what you say, they're going to say, no, they're all bad. This is that. Here's their new exit. They're all bad. And also I didn't hear about that. And then they just shut off.
They always say that.
I didn't hear that. Off.
That's not what I heard. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. So do me a favor. Go to ChristopherTitus.com. My new special, Carrion Monsters, is out. Get it, please. You can download it, and it's an hour and 40 minutes. And I think I've been watching a lot of comedy specials. I think it's one of the best comedy specials out there. And I'm saying that not from the ego place, but I'm a big aficionado of comedy, and it holds up.
I'm filming my special Beauty for Ashes October 18th
at the
El Portal Theater.
So if you want to get tickets to that, if you want to come in October, you can start planning now. We will
2 shows.
Yes. 2 shows, and you can come see it, and we'll be filming that night. Also, get ChristopherTitus.com. Go to Christopher Titus TV. Subscribe to the podcast. At least you'll get the truth.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. For myself, the lovely Bombshell Ray, and the Highlander. Later.
Peace out.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.